Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So the Heatwave sales are here and the reactions are mixed. However, on a personal note, I actually see the offers being as just about exactly what I predicted them to be, because I did think it's going to offer about 4 to 6 rank 4s total. It offers 5 and a bit. So I kind of hit the nail on the head there. I know there were a bunch of people who thought that we're going to get a full-on rank 4 for an Odin. I never really thought it's going to be the case. At the same time, there are bits of the sale that do feel a bit underwhelming. There are bits that do not. So first things first, if you haven't already, go and redeem the code SAVE ON. It's there in the corner somewhere. Because it is a 7-star Fantastic Four Nexus, and it's cool, and you can get something fine like Zola or something else interesting. So best of luck with whatever free 7-star you get. And now let's actually break down the sale. So the first big question is, how much does the Human Torch cost? Human Torch costs $600. That's the price tag on a Human Torch. It's $600 to obtain Human Torch with cash. So let's take a look at one of the kind of like better parts of the sale. I do think the web track has quite a bit of value in it. Obviously, it really starts from like the $300 mark upwards. You have the 10 6 stones here, that's fine. But there you get another Fantastic Force 7-star Nexus Crystal, which I think is a fairly good price for the milestone track. Then we have the 7-star rank up gem plus 6 to 3 gem. Nothing wrong with it. For $400 you already get Titan Nexus, which is obviously excellent. Haul there, excellent milestone. And then we have a 7-star Nexus Awakening Gem Crystal plus 56 stones, great. Human Torch, generic Awakening Gem, 3 to 4 gem, and a Titan Nexus. So I do think the Heatwave milestone track is actually, well, it is enticing, it is good. The weakest part here is definitely the bundles themselves here. Because number one, as soon as I opened Odin, it kind of felt like it's missing something immediately. And it generally, in my opinion, is missing the accompanying catalysts. Because Kabam is selling tier 7 basics, but tier 6 CCs, tier 4 alphas, all that stuff is not that easy to come by still in the game, and them not being like a rank up gem crystal as many expected. I did expect there to be catalysts, but I did expect it also to be accompanied with a whole bunch of tier 6 CC selectors, tier 4 alphas, or stuff like that. And also the fact that it's just a naked Titan crystal, it's better than a random class crystal that we used to have with the Titans, but it's still not like a massive leap. So I do think Odin in itself does appear to be a bit lackluster. It just appears a bit empty in my opinion. So we definitely have seen better Odins in past. Still objectively the better value because tier 7 basic is the rarest rank up resource. But it's also the type of purchase where, like, if you buy a bunch of these, you're just not going to be able to rank up the champions that you want really like that easily, because of all the accompanying catalysts. So it's just, I don't know why Kabam didn't just include the lower value catalysts with them there as well. And the Black Panther, it generally feels bad. I'm not gonna say. Because I don't know if Kabam realized this or not. 7-star shards for kind of like whalier players are borderline irrelevant. Because 19 out of 20 7-star crystals that people open if they have established roster right now are fairly bad pulls. Because of the way that the pool has grown and expanded, and how everything is effectively going through the Titan crystal and the side of the pool, I can from my personal experience, okay, I do have a fairly large account, and this will not be current or truth full to people with smaller accounts, but I don't care for 7-star shards. I get them, I open 7-star crystals here and there, and just about all of them are like random double and triple dupes on champions that I will never want to use. There are about 5 champions that I am looking for in the base pool, like I think 4 that I don't have and 1 that I would like to have duped, and that's about it. And therefore, like, on a personal note, when I see 7-star shards and offer like this, it just immediately feels like, it could have been 5,000 Titan shards, it would be much better. 10,000 Titan shards would be great. 5,000 Titan shards would still be better than 10,000 7-star shards. And also, just the 10 7-star 6 stones, it does not feel like a very significant amount. Kabam still seems to be quite stingy here with the 7-star 6 stones. So I do not think Black Panther is quite good. Now, this offer I kind of like better already for $30. It does have the 3 tier 4 alpha catalysts, which obviously, you do need. Now, I do understand that 2 to 3 gems have that as well in it, but still. And then we do have the Titan shard. So I actually like the way the Tony briefcase is structured more than the Black Panther's treasure. And this, again, it has 3,750 7-star shards and a tier 6 selector. So there is a good argument for, at times, based on what you need, that the Paragon one, you know, with 2 tier 3 alphas, 2 tier 6 basics, and 1,000 Titan shards, there's actually no argument. This is just better. Unless you're explicitly looking for the tier 6 CCs, this is just like better. Like, unless, you know, this is the one thing that you need here. So again, it's kind of like a weird structuring, in my opinion, here. And then, you know, as far as Peter Parker as well goes, I think it's fine. You know, it has 1.5 of each of those catalysts, some 7-star shards. It's okay. Kind of like a throw in. I think it's, you know, a decent nifty little offer, if you will. But as a whole, these unit offers here this time around seem to be the least exciting part. So that is very, very good news to people who grinded out a ton of units and will not have to spend, like now, you know, all of it to actually enjoy the unit offers. Because, yeah, grinded units, I think, do weigh quite a bit better with what you can get for them, even if it's a little bit less in rank up materials or similar amount. Because you still get the 3 to 4 gem here, you still get 2, you still can get like the, yeah, so it's 3 to 4, so it's going to be full on that. And there's no real argument here, I think, that unit offers actually kind of carry more weight here. And these are the Heatwave Valiant unit offers. Here, for me, on a personal level, in section 1, I already selected, because I did have a bit of units. I went for the middle one, because I am missing quite a chunk of these ones. So I do think that is overall the best value, you know, with the throw-ins and everything else, because these, you know, at the moment I am personally on a fairly big shortage, and I think it's fine set of offers. I think, yeah, middle one's probably the best one for most, especially if you do have a bunch of champions you want to rank up. Then we have tier 2, and tier 2, it's it's kind of a bit tricky pick, but for most people I'd say if you are a competitive player, then you want to select C here. And if you are not super competitive and just looking to grow your roster the best you can, then B offer that you go for here. In tier 3, and it's kind of similar, it's definitely not C. This is garbage. This is absolute garbage in my opinion. It's in between the 6 stones or the tier 7 basic and the Titan crystal. Again, if you are on the most competitive side, probably go with tier 7 basic. Or if you are trying your best to fill up the prestige sheet, it would be the 6 stones. But for most people, I think it's the tier 7 basic. Now here is where it gets interesting, because first time you go through these offers, this is tier 4. It costs 6,750 units, and you get a generic 7-star awakening gem. So you can get 2 generic 7-star awakening gems in the sale total. And then you need to pick in between Omega Days selector, which is Omega Sentinel, Quicksilver, Omega Red, Mallman, Longshot. Who else was there? Corvus. So that's that. CCP Challenge, which is Starhand, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, or Massacre, which is great news for a ton of players who I know were after Starhand Spider-Man, and Starhand Spider-Man is a very desirable champion right now. So that is holding a very large amount of value there for them, or a Titan Nexus. And then you have to go through this first 3 tiers the second time, in which case my reply would not change. 1 second there. I want to make sure that this goes here. And then you have these. You basically get the 3 to 4 gem, but again, keep in mind that this price has increased, and the total amount of units needed for the sale again went up to 39,000 to get all the milestones. So in order to get this is already going to be 39,000 units. So you do have a 3 to 4 gem, which again is another rank 4. And then you can either select a tier 7 basic, 2024 selector, 100 Sig stones, random awakening gem, 30,000 Titan shards, 2 7-star nexuses. Out of whom here again I think the best value is held in one of these 3 items. Tier 7 basic if you do not need anybody desperately for 2024, or 100 6 stones if you do need a whole bunch of 6 stones. But if they're random classes, then I'd probably still go with tier 7 basic, which I think is the better pick. And then item 3 would be a Titan Nexus, which I think holds great value. Tier 7 basic, still great value at the moment. Then half a 7-star Awakening gem or a Picker selector. 60,000 7-star shards or 106 stones. So, here, Picky Picker. A lot of people are asking me what's in the Picky Picker selector. Picky Picker selector lets you pick any of the 2023 champions, any one of the 6 Glorious Guardians, which are, again to remind you, Black Panther Civil War, Medusa, Sentinel, Purgatory, Deadpool X-Force, or Sentry, or any one of the launch pool champions. So that's Picky Picker, just to remind you guys. So as far as the unit offers go, yes, it is 39,000 units now, which is very, very annoying. But I do think overall, they're quite decent. I think the unit offers are actually quite decent. I do think the fact that there's a generic 7-star Awakening gem, 3 to 4 gem, you can, get tier 7 base, you can get a 2024 champion plus a Titan Nexus or a Picky Picker selector or some tier 7 basics there plus what you select on the way here, a generic Awakening gem. I think the total amount of haul you can get for units, I think is actually quite good. I know that, there will be some people disappointed in that, but realistically speaking, I think the unit spend part of this event is quite okay. I think the cash offers this time are the ones that are kind of lagging behind a bit. There's obviously another component here, and that is the Heatwave sales tracker that's in-game based on the units that you have spent. And there, the highlights are 7-star Nexus, Titan Nexus when you spend 30k units already, or a 7-star Torch. So you can get Torch with units only, but that is 39,000 units, which again is still following a very unpopular trend by Kabam in increasing the total amount of units that are needed to complete sale. Some years ago, that was like 15k units, then it went to 18k units, then it went 21k units, and all of a sudden it's 36 and 39 now. So it's getting crazy high, which is a very, very, very bad trend. Again, so my recommendations here. If you are spending, obviously Odin still holds the better value, realistically speaking. But if you're spending fairly limited amount of money, let's say $50, I'd recommend getting a Tony Stark's briefcase and, 4 of these. I do think out of all of these offers, Tony Stark's briefcase is kind of structured better. I think it's decent-ish. And then, obviously it's still the Odin, because it gives you the biggest unit bonus. It still has the full Titan in it. But it's not like a great feeling. Definitely not a great feeling type of Odin. And again, as far as the unit offers went, just to go over it very, very quickly. Here I think B is the best one. Here I think C is the best one for some people B. Here I think A is the best one. Then here, it entirely depends what you need. If you do have Starkey, and if you do have all the Omega Days champions, then Titan Nexus, obviously. But Starkey is somebody that I recommend picking up here if you are getting these offers. And then here, again, it entirely depends on your need. If you're looking for somebody from 2024 still, there's a selector for it. If not, tier 7 basic. And here, if you want anybody from Picky Picker, that's probably better to go for guaranteed value. Like here, I would have a dilemma because, because I am currently not planning on spending anything at all whatsoever here. But if I was to do it, I'd be very tempted to get Sentinel dupe out of this, or obviously a Titan Nexus, or tier 7 basic. So I'd really have to struggle here in between those 3 items. So there you go. That is what I think are the best value offers here. And that are my, brief initial thoughts of the offers. They are more or less within the lines of what I expected. If you do not believe me, I'll actually find that for you. See? Does it acquire 20, 25 7-star champions total? I think similar to it, especially if you choose to kind of press on champions. And generic 7-star, time to see second ever generic. We see 2 7-star generics. So we do see that. 7-star 6 stones, we'll see 2 to 400 6 stones total. Some saga restricted. Do we see 2 to 400 7-star 6 stones total? Potentially, if you want. So that's 200 there if you want to be pressing on the 6 stones. Here here's quite another 150. You can definitely get over 406 tons from this if you want. But again, Kabam is kind of pressing that choice in the matter. But we do see that. Titan crystals and Titan Nexus are guaranteed to return, obviously. So they are here. Do you think we'll see 2 tier 7 basic in Odins alongside the Awakening Gem shards and some special crystals? Here, I think out of all the Odins that I saw people predicting, this was kind of the closest one. Because we see 1.5 tier 7 basics instead of 2. And no Awakening Gem shards, but Web Store Track has 2 Awakening Gems there. So I do think this was, you know, fairly spot on. Potential for 4 to 6 7-star rank 4s. We're effectively getting like 5, I think. 5 to 6 you can select. So if you, this would be 2 and a bit. Yeah, you can basically get 5 to 6 in between that mark. Almost 6, just under 6 in total. If that's what you press on. So I think this was on point as well. I do believe that there will be lots of 2-3 gems, tier 6 basics, and we have all of that there all over the place for sure. Most of the time there will be one set of cash offers that get larger at 6 tons, typically Stony Stark or Black Panther. This is Black Panther, but again, it's fairly limited in 6 tons. You know, the targeting exclusive pools was a great success for Kabam, so we're bound to see the return custom-made selectors. And we do. We do see the special selectors making a comeback as well. And there you go. So I think overall, my predictions were fairly spot on. So let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information